What's up, everyone? Shaquille Mahjoudi here for CBS Sports, and you know who this is. He is the former UFC welterweight champion, and he's been gone for too damn long, but he returns this Saturday against Joaquin Buckley at UFC in Atlanta. Kamaru Usman, how are you, sir?
I am wonderful. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. Now, before we get to the fight, where you've been these last 18 months or so, you're headed to Atlanta. Careful with how you answer this question. Lemon pepper wings, overrated, underrated?
Definitely not overrated.
Okay.
Definitely not
Fairly rated.
overrated. Yeah, definitely not overrated. I mean, depending on the place, though, not all lemon pepper wings are created equal. Depending on the place that you're at, lemon pepper wing will definitely spice up your day.
Okay, I'm not sure if you've seen Atlanta, but apparently lemon pepper wet is the way to go. Do you know anything about this?
What is it? Lemon pepper what?
Wet. I
Wet.
don't. I couldn't tell you what the difference is.
Mm, okay, that doesn't sound great for wings, yeah, but yeah,
Hey
love
man,
it.
I saw you talk about how I think it was while you were watching the Joaquin Buckley Colby Covington fight that you're not coming back until you're healthy. How does it feel to be healthy?
I mean, going through a training camp definitely makes you feel like you're not healthy. I'll tell you that. Getting punched and beat up by training partners like Justin and Archie and some of these guys, it definitely makes you feel otherwise. But it's I'm just blessed for the opportunity to be back. I'm blessed to have another opportunity to step in and blessed to not just represent myself and my family, but also my instructors, my coaches, my training partners. So yeah, it's a wonderful feeling to be back.
Can you talk me a little bit through what this recovery process was like for you, taking some time to remedy some nagging injuries? What were you doing in that time off to sort of prepare yourself for this return?
Just spending a lot of time on and money on physical therapy,
Aging.
doing all of that. But it wasn't totally downtime. I think when you're
Hmm.
kind of a student of the sport and you got the bug, it's almost impossible to just kind of sit at home. So it wasn't. I was just sitting at home and doing rehab. I was still getting some work in, and my trainers and my coaches, they know that, and my teammates, they know that. So yeah, it's been good to really kind of invest, and I
Hmm.
mean invest time in my family and just learning new things that I potentially want to be a part of.
When it comes to fight night, and I mean past fight nights, where would you say those nagging injuries were like impeding you the most? Where were you? What were you struggling to maybe execute as well as you were before those injuries started sort of taking their tolls?
No, I mean it was always kind of I came in the game with things. Most
Hmm.
people don't realize when I fought for the Ultimate Fighter finale in 2015, which was my first fight in the UFC. I was, I think, 4 months post microfracture surgery, and which was supposed to be a 8 month recovery, I believe. And I was 4 months post that, and I went in there and I fought. So I was always dealing with things. I think it's a testament to it didn't really stop me, even though it made it difficult. It didn't really stop me. It kind of, I believe, grew my threshold of being uncomfortable, which I've been for a long, long time, all throughout my career. And so it feels good to go in here now and try to get back to the top.
You mentioned training with Justin Gaethje. You might have to lean in to see this video, but what's it like training with Justin? What's going through your mind when he pulls out stuff like this?
Justin is a madman. I mean, you never know what he's going to do, which is what makes him so special. Um, Extremely talented, as we all know, and extremely, extremely entertaining, as we all know. And so it would be a pleasure to get a chance to see him go out there and become undisputed champion with that. So
Hmm.
You know.
Well, I saw the headline that Ali Abdelaziz gave. I think it was with Submission Radio that it's sort of UFC title shot or retirement for Justin. How does that feel for you as a training partner of his?
Well, I mean, obviously, we don't want to see a retirement because we're all such fans of Justin Gaethje, and we want to continue to get our fix of his
Hmm.
fights. But it's an interesting stance, and I think he's earned that shot. So we'll see. The UFC, Hunter Campbell and Dana are great at what they do, and they've done a great job for forever. That's why the company's where it is. So, I'm sure they'll make a great decision that's going to work for everyone and get Justin that opportunity.
As a Justin Gaethje fan, it's a weird place to be because on one hand I'm like, please keep going, Justin. On the other hand, I'm like, you have given us as much and more than anyone else has. If you're
Right,
prepared to go one way or the other, like you should have all of our blessings.
right, right, right. I feel the exact same way.
Now it's okay if you don't want to talk about it. We can just move on. But since Henry brought it up a few weeks ago, would you be willing to elaborate on what happened when you had Bilal Muhammad on the podcast?
No, it's. I think it's he got to a point in his career as far as, when you become champion. And when you become champion, it validates a lot of different things for you that maybe only you were able to see at one point. And I think that's what it did for him. But in that process, I think he was just doing and saying a couple of things that were a bit distasteful for me.
Mhm.
And he was on the podcast, and we attempted to have a conversation about it, but it unfortunately didn't go as I think either of us would have liked, at least not on my part. So that was that. Nothing more, nothing less. But yeah, it's unfortunate that he lost the title because that would have been a great fight
Mhm.
between myself and Muhammad. So yeah, it is what it is. We move on.
Well, thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Um, we're seeing this big turnover at welterweight right now. You got your Shavkats and Brady's and Jack Della Maddalena's and Ian Machado Gary's coming through. It feels like a lot of the guys who you were in the title conversation with are maybe sort of, I don't want to say phased out, but they're kind of struggling right now. You know, Colby, Leon, Gilbert. This new wave, they haven't fought Kamaru Usman yet, and they won't until this Saturday. What's it been like for you to sort of sit on the sidelines for a little bit, watch this turnover happen, but you haven't been in the mix? Now you're coming back to a totally different landscape.
Yeah, it's great actually. It's fun to watch. Uh, because yes, my name is still synonymously linked to everyone. They always go, okay, yeah, okay, I want him, I want him, I want him.
Hmm.
So my name has kind of still been linked to these guys, but it's been great to see them. I mean, this is life. This is what happens,
Hmm.
especially in the sport. You get waves. You get the Nick Diaz, the BJ Penn wave. You get the GSP, the Matt Hughes wave. You get the Johnny Hendricks, the Carlos Condit, the Robbie Lawler. You get all of that, and then you get the Woodley, and then you get Meyer, and then now you're seeing this new wave of these new guys. So it's incredible. It's great. This division has been one of the most competitive forever, and it's still proven that. Obviously, with all the new add-ins like Islam moving up and all these guys, it's fantastic to be able to sit back and watch. And like I mentioned, just being blessed to still have the ability
Hmm.
to go out there and I guess some people would say exercise your demons by fighting. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm just excited. And Saturday is another opportunity for me to do that.
As we wrap up here, who of this sort of new crop of welterweights would you say impresses you the most?
Man, there's a lot of them. They're good. Obviously, JDM has always been, secretly impressive to me. Obviously,
Hmm.
his name wasn't as big, so where I didn't get a lot of questions and a lot of opportunities to talk about. But JDM is someone that I kind of watched from afar, and has someone that I've always I liked. Obviously, I People are like, oh, there's deficiency, there's holes in this game, which, I think there is. But at the same time, he's a phenomenal fighter. Um, in the division. And Buckley's done Joaquin Buckley's done a phenomenal job of what he's been presented with, and has put himself in the position right now. Also, Sean Brady. Of course, we don't get to see him as frequent as possible, but Sean Brady's also another guy that I think is pretty tough. So, this division's got talent. It's always had talent, and he's going to continue to have talent. So I'm excited.
Last question, I'll let you go here, Kamaru. There's a guy fighting for the UFC middleweight championship named Khamzat Chimaev, and nobody has given him the fight that you had, and you did it on, what, 5 days' notice? I know you had mentioned post-fight that you were maybe like contemplating what it would be like at middleweight. What ultimately brought you back to 170 instead of exploring 185 more?
Well, I think I belong here. I've done the necessary work to grow into this division, and this has kind of been that benchmark for me. Middleweight would have, I'm not ruling it out completely, but for that fight, it was just the opportunity. I mean, I think it was like 7 days notice across the world with a guy that has grown into that weight class that can't make it down. It was just the perfect opportunity to at least just try something. And I tried it. I think given the appropriate time to kind of grow into, that division, would be fun and would have been fun. So, who knows? But Khamzat Chimaev, an incredible fighter, very, very, very tough fighter. Has been hit with a few tests. Obviously, myself, obviously Burns. So, and he's passed. So, I'm excited to see how that fight goes with himself and Dricus du Plessis. I think that's a phenomenal fight. Both guys tough, extremely tough. So that's one of the fights I'm looking forward to the most this year.
Well, before we can revisit 185 pounds, you got a task at hand. Joaquin Buckley this Saturday at UFC Fight Night in Atlanta. Maybe some lemon pepper wings after the weigh-ins to celebrate. Kamaru,
Yes.
it's great to have you back. If there's anything you want to leave the people with, I'd love to give you the last word.
Appreciate it. It's great to be back, and I'm just blessed to have the opportunity to go out there and perform once again. So this is a blessing, and I'm grateful for it. And Saturday, of course, everybody's going to get what they paid for.